Sir, do you know why I pulled you over?
Officer, I believe I was going the speed limit.
The folder slammed onto the desk. Pages scattered, evidence pulled apart without permission. A white officer, known for his arrogance, leaned back in the chair with a smirk, believing no one could touch him. Across the table sat a quiet black man, his hands folded, his eyes steady, carrying the weight of years of discipline and silence. He did not speak, though every word of insult burned into his skin like fire. The officer's voice dripped with mockery as he announced, "This file doesn't belong here, but I'll make it mine." Around the room, others shifted uncomfortably but said nothing. The silence of bystanders carved deeper wounds than the officer's words. Yet the man sitting across remained calm, breathing slow, refusing to let rage define him. Because what no one else knew, what the officer had never cared to learn, was that this man was no ordinary defendant. He was a decorated veteran, a father, and a man who had given more to his country than the officer had ever given to the badge. The veteran's backstory was etched into every scar, every careful breath. He had served in battlefields far from home, where dust clung to sweat and the sound of gunfire never stopped. He had held the hands of men who never made it back, whispered prayers over broken bodies, and carried memories that never let him sleep through the night. When he returned, he built a quiet life, raising children, teaching them dignity even when the world tried to strip it away. But here, in this cold office, his honor was mocked, his name dragged without cause. The officer saw only skin, not sacrifice. He saw only color, not courage. And so, with every word, the injustice grew heavier in the air. The room itself seemed to know it. The stale scent of paper and ink carried the weight of a system tilted against him. The hum of the fluorescent lights buzzed above, steady, indifferent. And still the veteran sat silent, his silence not weakness, but a storm waiting for its time. The tension built like a rope pulled tighter with each passing second. The officer chuckled, flipping through pages, twisting words, ignoring laws. He believed power was permanent, that arrogance could shield him from consequence. A few colleagues glanced at one another, unease crossing their faces. They felt the wrongness, but none dared intervene. Still the man stayed still. His stillness spoke louder than outrage ever could. It was a stillness that came from discipline, from years of learning when to wait, when to strike, when to let truth speak for itself. Then, the twist began. A quiet knock on the door. A messenger entered, placing an envelope directly into the officer's hand. He opened it casually at first, certain it was routine. But as his eyes scanned the words, the smirk fell. His face turned pale, the arrogance drained. In his hand were his own termination papers, signed, sealed, final. The silence shifted. Every gaze in the room turned from the veteran to the officer. The same silence that once covered injustice now carried justice. Without a word, the man who thought himself untouchable was undone. The veteran finally rose from his chair. He said nothing. He didn't need to. His presence was enough. His dignity, unbroken by insult, stood taller than any badge. True strength doesn't shout. It stands. The room erupted, not with noise, but with understanding. Colleagues who had stayed quiet now stood, some lowering their heads in shame, others nodding in respect toward the veteran. The tables had turned not with fists or fury, but with quiet justice. Outside, word spread. People spoke of the officer's fall, but more importantly, of the man who had endured humiliation without breaking. He became more than just a veteran in that moment. He became a symbol of the truth that dignity, even under attack, can topple arrogance with nothing more than patience and honor. The ending was not loud. It was powerful in its quiet. The officer's desk sat empty. His badge was gone. And the man he mocked walked out not as a victim, but as a victor, his silence echoing louder than any words could.